Ladies and gentlemen, SookyMMA is back for UFC Vegas 52, and frankly, we're going to quickly review UFC Vegas 51 because I don't want to spend too much time on it. It reminds me of a terrible time. We go a measly 5-9, very similar to our brutal UFC London record earlier this year, and your boy's on a bit of a cold streak when it comes to the pick'em. We hit the big picks, thankfully, and we also did pretty well on the bets despite everything. The big parlay that I posted on my Instagram account, Penny and Pat Sabatini, that one was a lifesaver, if you will, when it comes to this whole game. But frankly,
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
and so, yeah, I mean, with that said, I really just know it's time to get back on the horse and perform a little bit better. I am not too happy with the card from last week, but you know what? In terms of the fights, I'm actually okay with it overall. Bilal Muhammad's going to get a lot of hate for the style of fighting that he has, but I think that is the perfect argument for the diehard MMA fans because I'm seeing a nice mix of the people that still respect the game and then the ones that are just like, it's a terrible, terrible look for what MMA can do as a sport and the excitement and blah, blah, blah. There's just so much to be said about that fight, right? And to be honest, I think I lean to the skills side. I mean, it's Vincent Luque. You want to stand in there and take some punches from Vincent Luque? I mean, by all means, I'm sure the opportunity can come your way if you just make your way to Sanford MMA. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the smarter route, the athletic route, the whole point of winning route is where you should be taking things. And I think that's where Bilal takes things, and I got no quarrels with that. With that said, I want nothing else to do with that card. We're going to go right into UFC Vegas 52. The 2022 record not looking so hot, but, in some preliminary research, I thought this card wasn't looking so bad. And then now that we've started diving in, I mean, maybe there's some spots that we can start picking from a betting perspective, but from a pick perspective, I'm not thinking it's going to be so bad. So let's kick it off right away with the highly anticipated fight between Dean Barry and Mike Jackson. I mean, this has been a long time in the making. 2 times or 3 times that they were supposed to fight in the past. Now they're going to get it on this weekend. Dean Barry, big talked about Irish MMA prospect. He's got the UAE Warriors and the Titan FC experience under his belt. I like the fact that he throws a lot of side kicks. He's clearly got a striking background that he comes from, and the hand speed's amazing. The accuracy's there. He doesn't really take his eyes off the target, and that's something that I always look for in a fighter. Any striker fighter, I think that's a very important aspect for me personally when I'm judging things. I just like to know where the eyes are going. And outside of that, the big thing, I watched a couple interviews of his from back in the day, and just as he made the transition over, and now he's starting to train at TriStar, and there's a couple videos out there right now of him training with the BJJ and MMA coach over there, Rob Rive, and it's kind of funny what we've got to work with when it comes to Mike Jackson. The Mickey Gall and CM Punk tape don't really show too much, but with the CM Punk tape, I mean, at least he's got some hands on him. I don't really think he takes the ground game very well. And the big thing with Dean Barry is that the athleticism and the creativity on the feet is already very obvious. And I think the ground game is going to be there, especially with where he's taking things now in his career. So in terms of a pick, I think it's fairly easy where we have to kind of put our money on this one. Jackson trains out of Houston. There's going to be a lot of Houston fighters on this one. I think my boy Ike Villanueva is also there. And they all come out of the same gym as Bob Perez and my man Derek Lewis. So, big Houston card coming up to this weekend. But, yeah, outside of that, Dean Barry, I think he's got to be the pick here. You think about some of the areas where these guys can actually, maybe surprise guys like Mike Jackson. And I think for me, it's going to be the lucky shot. It's going to be a lot of what has he done with the time that's been given to him right now. But outside of that, Dean Barry, minus 300 is my call for the guess the line this week for the first one. I mean, yeah, there's not much more to say. I think that the tape is out right now on both guys. I think Dean Barry just does the one thing that we've seen Mike Jackson do a little bit better. So let's check out the odds here. I don't think OddsShark had it. I'm just going to go to Bet365, and wow. Dean Barry, a minus 1,000 favorite to kick off the weekend. Plus 600 for Mike Jackson, and pretty ridiculous odds there. No real value, no real props to take a look at either. It looks like just that line is available, so my minus 300 kind of gets toppled by about minus 700 worth of betting points there. So clearly Dean Barry's getting the edge here. I do like him in this fight. I think that's going to be the pick here. It's just Mike Jackson would have to do a lot of improving to kind of show us something different. And his UFC career, it's just been more of a show than it is kind of a title run, if you will. So I'm excited for the fight, but I think Dean Barry is a bit more on a different level here.